Welcome back to GameSpot's continuing coverage of E3 2015, live from the LA Convention Center right here in Los Angeles, California. And the Irish are taking over. The pride of Waterford, Ireland, Sean Murray.
Yeah, Waterford it is, yeah,
Waterford,
specifically.
Exactly. We're representing right here on the GameSpot stage. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
I'm not too. I'm doing all right. I'm feeling pretty. Apparently, I'm fresh-faced according to your crew.
You do look fresh-faced.
You, on the other hand,
you make me feel tired because I suddenly feel tired.
You're sporting your development beard.
Yeah.
So whenever we see you with a beard, it means you've been just sitting down hammering a keyboard for 6 months. We met at the PlayStation Experience back in December, I guess it was. And since then, you guys have kind of like done a media sort of blackout almost. You're kind of just in like development mode. What was the reasoning behind that?
Well, I dropped off Twitter and things like that, which doesn't sound like a big deal. I wasn't the biggest Twitter user anyway, you know. Yeah. And just kind of, we didn't post anything. We turned down loads of press and stuff. Like there was just loads of interest around the game, and we could actually have done press every day and then just not get any of the game done. So that was one reason. Just wanted to get our heads down. Another reason was, I suppose, a lot of people said there was a lot of like hype around the game.
Yeah.
And that's a weird feeling as a developer, actually. You'd think it would be a good thing. Because like you want people to be excited about your game, you know?
But it's a double-edged sword, because then expectations are kind of almost getting out of your hand, I guess.
It's a scary thing, yeah. But then I suppose probably a bigger thing was, I just said personally, I just didn't want, I wasn't getting anything from it. I didn't want to do any press, you know, and we were booked to go to like GDC and DICE and stuff like that and do talks, and I just said like to the rest of the guys, you can do it, but I just don't want to. I suppose just at a really personal level, it sounds really selfish, like I just don't enjoy it.
So what's it been like then for 6 months, being able to sort of concentrate on your baby and not worry about distractions? Has No Man's Sky changed in any way in its direction in the past 6 months?
I think like E3 for us now is showing like that we think it's really coming together, you know? I was actually going to say that on stage, and they said, don't say that, that sounds bad, you know? But that's what it felt like for me, you know? We'd showed videos before, and those videos were a fair reflection, you know? But I don't think people realize how impressive it is to be able to just stand there and pick any star at random and just go there and say, it might not be perfect, but like, I'm happy enough to show this kind of thing. You know?
I guess I think for some of the other demos, as impressive as they are, like nobody's kind of scrutinized. Most games don't get scrutinized to the level that No Man's Sky has been, because I think there was this impression that there's a smoke and mirrors aspect to it. So yeah, kind of a ballsy move to go on the Sony conference and then just pick a random level and see what's ended up being there.
Well, we wanted, like a lot of, you know, the hype thing is like, we could have done a very staged demo.
Yeah.
But all I felt that would do is like increase hype, you know, and I wanted to just show something that was more real. So like, to me, that demo was sort of boring. Because basically you just pick a planet and you go there, you land, and like you go up to a beacon, and you know, almost you could see no one even knew whether it was over. Yeah. You kind of just put.
You didn't seem like you knew when it was over.
Like, I guess we stopped there, back away from it, like I'm out of time.
As opposed to showing like 5 minutes of space battles and everything else.
Well, like I was joking before today about like every demo, pretty much on all the conferences so far, 50% of them end with like a monster coming out, screaming, you know, like, and then it cuts, you know, fade to black.
And yours ended with
or whatever.
E3 fish and, and uploading some coordinates.
Exactly. It sounds pretty bad when you put it like that. Yeah, and a kind of a, and we'll leave it there, I guess. You know?
So what else could have happened? What in like all the other universes we live in, you know, all the other universes that exist that we can't see.
We saw the things in rehearsal, like, you know, where I would land. I was hoping that I would land and there would be lots of creatures there, and then I could talk about that a bit. The backup to that was like, if there's nothing there and it's a more barren planet, I'll just like mine some resources, show that the planet's destructible and stuff. So that was kind of what we went with. Like, you just have to kind of roll with it. The ideal is like that you do land and there's some crazy big creature or something like that there, and you can kind of show that off, kind of like that huge dinosaur you saw in like the previous E3 demo. But then if that had happened, probably everyone would have said it was staged, so
yeah,
it's fine.
good point. At the start, there was that really sort of cool spaceship battle. Like we're seeing a lot of new footage here as well, actually, which is fantastic. Yeah, that big space battle, and you said like you could pick which side to take in that battle. Like, just wondering about those sort of situations. Like I play lots of games like Elite Dangerous and stuff, where like that sort of stuff is you've chosen already. Like in that situation, are you just picking who to battle with based on just what's happening, or do you have allegiances with specific parties?
Yeah, like we're nothing like GTA, right? But it's the easiest way I have to explain it. Like, you know how if you play GTA and you go to a rival gang's region, they'll instantly just start attacking you.
Yeah.
You know? If you start attacking some pedestrians, then the police will have a reaction, you know? And so we have a similar kind of system. People might have noticed it, that there's like a wanted level up in the top right-hand corner. So if you start attacking innocents, so you start attacking traders or freighters, then the police will have a reaction to that and start chasing you. If you attack police who are just on patrol or military, then similar thing will happen. With regards to factions, they're battling anyway. That goes on whether you're there or not.
Yeah.
You could just choose to join in. If you attack one particular faction, then they're going to remember that, and they might shoot first next time. If you decide to instead kind of protect freighters from like pirates and things like that,
presumably you could like have a mission to like help them get through, perhaps, or.
But it's not really missions.
Yeah.
It's like if you imagine GTA, but you don't do any of the missions and you just interact with the world, that's kind of what we're after, like an action sandbox, basically.
And yeah, is that what No Man's Sky essentially is? It's almost like, because the thing is, when we talk to you about these games, like it's almost like a reticence to try and explain them. But I guess if it's a action sandbox, then by explaining it, you're kind of ruining the fun.
Yeah.
Like, do you want people to get into No Man's Sky and kind of not know what the rules of this world are?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and the more we do these shows, the more we probably ruin it for people. Like, but you know, we try to hold a little bit back at least, or I don't know, try not to over-explain it. Like Minecraft. Like, the coolest thing about Minecraft was that they didn't tell you, you know, what the crafting recipes were, and I don't know whether I would have had the nerve for that to release a game without doing that, but it's so cool, you know. And some people will just go and create wikis, and you know, some people will go and read wikis, and some people will just want to find it out for themselves. And we have similar kind of elements. We actually have crafting in the game as well. You know, we have like these ways that you interact. Like I'm talking about police or military. Even things like that aren't made super obvious to you. You just see how they're interacting and you follow it from there, kind of thing.
So
and
presumably you're just like creating this sandbox and then looking forward to when people get to play it themselves, that information will propagate.
That's the idea. All the systems have to work and create like nice game loops. Kind of like so many games, particularly on PC at the moment, like say like Stranded Deep or Salt or you know, Terraria or Starbound, those kind of games, like have that system where they just have, here is a set of rules, here's a world, go out and play it how you want. And it's, you know, it is very different and it confuses people a bit. You know, and it is hard to talk about a game like that before it comes out. Normally those games just come out.
Yeah.
You know, and they're found on early access and people figure them out as they go along. You know?
Then the media picks up once there's been buzz.
Exactly.
Whereas you guys have to unfortunately go through a couple of years of...
we can't complain though, really, you know, like it's lovely that people are interested in the game and it fires us up to make it. You know, when I'm saying I don't want to do press, it's not because we aren't happy that people are excited about the game. Of course we are, you know.
Well, it's like that's a continuing sort of problem with games coverage as well. I saw a really good talk at GDC a couple of years ago about that from the guys who made Frog Fractions, about trying to keep wonder, because when we grew up, you know, playing Commodore games, like you heard, like in Mortal Kombat, you're wondering, like somebody said, oh, if you do such and such, like Spider-Man turns up, and like Who knows? Like maybe it was possible. One of the areas I remember we talked about last year when we did the video series on GameSpot was how this world, how it's one big world. And obviously, like, you probably don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of that either, but like the idea that you could find this planet and then somebody else might run into it. Like now everyone's going to be looking for the E3 planet. But this is a world where you can play with others, but is it sort of you're playing with them in that you're noticing where they've been rather than you're like actually dogfighting alongside other humans?
Yeah, like we're very careful about saying that. Like, this is not, if you're expecting a deathmatch game or an MMO, this is not what this is. It's like Journey. Journey has a lovely multiplayer component to it, but you would never say Journey's a great, like, let's all sit down on Friday with a few beers and play Journey. It's just not that kind of game, and that'll be the same for No Man's Sky.
Yeah. And it's interesting, when we talked last year as well, it seemed like you really had a strong idea. Here's you wondering if you should finish the demo or not. It seemed like you had a really strong identity of what the game was. Has that changed in the past 12 months?
No, I'm like really proud of the guys that we haven't done that. That like all this, interest and hype and things like that, we've just kind of kept focused, and that's why, like, people. Somebody said to me, like, it's like 3 years since you announced that game. Well, when are you going to release it? It's like, no, it was about a year and a half ago. Like, and we've only showed it, like, we showed it the first time at VGX, then E3, then kind of PSX, and now again. Whereas most games, that from the kind of cycle, you're seeing them at every PAX,
every couple of weeks. With the amount of events there are now, you've actually skipped quite a lot of them.
Yeah, we have. We showed Joe Danger way more. No one paid any attention. I was saying
man.
that.
Hey, Citizen Game paid attention.
You guys
back
did,
in the day.
yeah. No, I was saying it to Grant, who I work with, just before E3, before the press conference. There was like new screenshots from No Man's Sky leaked, and it went on all the websites, and I was like, where were these guys for Joe Danger? No one ever leaked a Joe Danger screenshot.
That's what
you should safe
do.
As houses.
You need to make some fake Reddit accounts and just start pumping them out there. Fake, unannounced.
Come on, somebody pick up on it.
Yeah. Guerrilla journalism from inside of the games industry.
So we can't complain about that. Like, that makes it way easier, and we're not on the show floor just trying to drum people in and stuff, and that allows us to actually focus on development, and we need to, because we're big, insane in the type of game that we're trying to make.
Yeah, we didn't try and make something small, and it always seemed like it was going to take a while.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a release date for this. Like, it's obviously not coming out this year. Do you know when it's going to be? Like, are we talking 2016 early, late? Do you have any idea?
So we're not saying year and things like that. We really wanted to announce a release date, and like, it's really hard to explain. Like, most people will think they're used to somebody much more important sitting here talking about a much more important game, and they'll say, they'll have a real clever press plan.
Yeah.
Like, we want the game to be out. Like, if we thought it was good enough, we would release it. If we thought it was finished, we would release it. We just have to make sure that it is. We were going to announce a release date. There's reasons why we began to realize that it might not be accurate.
Okay.
Some reasons outside of our control, and I just don't want the pressure of that, to be honest. Like what I would create by, you actually create people being upset with you.
Yeah.
For announcing a release date and then changing it. It's the worst thing. It's like saying Christmas is the 25th of December and then changing it. Like, actually, no, we'll have Christmas a little bit later this year,
See, you can't say that to me now, Sean, because now I'm like, oh, well, it could be out this year, I guess, if you're going to say it that way. And I've already got The Witcher and bloody Fallout 4 is now apparently coming out.
The problem is I have The Witcher. I haven't opened it. It's still wrapped up.
Don't open it. Where's Alex? Is he out there? Don't let Sean open The Witcher. Don't let him play Fallout 4. We need to get No Man's Sky at some stage. So I'm guessing whenever you're closer to release date, you'll probably talk about it then. Are you going to be shopping it around for the rest of the year? Are you going to be at Gamescom? Are you going to go to any of the PAXs?
I'm personally just going to try and limit it as much as humanly possible. I know that sounds bad again, but I don't think it actually does anyone any good Is that a
knowing
bad
more
thing
about
to say
the
at
game.
E3? You know, like, as in, you know, if people are excited about the game and they tell me, I actually feel bad. I just feel like, you
Do
know,
you feel like you have
it's
a weight
not,
on your shoulders almost? To
well,
like,
it's not out yet, and it's like, get excited about it when it's out. You know, is that bad to say? Like, you know, you want people to know about the game and stuff, and so that it is important to do this kind of thing. But right now, we feel we probably have what we need in that we have people who will at least read a review and see whether the game's any good, you know? And if we've got that, then we're kind of happy enough, and we just need to deliver it for them, you know?
Awesome. Last question, because I know you're a very, very busy man. It must have been cool to be able to go on the PC gaming show and say, yeah, you know what, this is actually coming out for PC as well.
Yeah, that was really nice. You know, it's a thing we've known for a while. And like Sony have been really supportive of it actually, you know, which is nice. I mean, you can see that with a bunch of other games that they're doing with Street Fighter and stuff like that. And we always assumed it would be a problem, but actually they've been quite good about it, you know.
And do you know whether or not like it'll be day and date on both platforms? Or
As close as we humanly possibly can, you know.
Awesome. Sean Murray, pleasure as ever to talk to you, my friend.
Thanks so much,
Best
Danny.
of luck with the rest of the development. Don't touch any. I know 2015's ended up actually being a pretty solid year for game releases. Don't play anything else. We need to get No Man's Sky. I feel bad. You feel bad for me.
Yeah.
I feel bad for me. Thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Danny.
GameSpot stage continues right here at E3 2015. Let us know what you think about No Man's Sky in the comment box below, and we'll be back in a minute with more video games.